everyone, my name is Aquila and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about knitting and crafty things, and this is episode 175. Didn't mention it's called a Lefty Knitter podcast, but again, are we calling it podcasts anymore? I'm so confused. Alright, come to you from Baltimore, Maryland. Again, my name is Aquila, and yeah, I had a question posed to me. I think it was through Instagram. Somebody contacted me and was like, my granddaughters would like to knit, and I think she said they were both left-handed. And I told her, she asked like if there was resources, and I told her about Bill Souza, who I talked about many episodes ago. And he has a lot of tutorials for left-handed makers, because I think he does crochet and knitting, but either way, yeah. I pointed her in that direction, and then I also said I have had great success in teaching me being lefty, and I knit the opposite way because my working needle is in my left hand and my stitches go the opposite direction. I advised her to sit in front of her grandchildren and they can mirror. So whatever I'm doing with this hand, they're going to be doing with their right hand. And I have had really great success teaching people, not like many people, but I've had success in using the mirroring process because it really is helpful. And then of course, supplementing that with other materials such as YouTube or even other knitters who might be right-handed. I know you don't always have, people don't always have access to that. So, you know, there's other sources. Libraries have tons of great books. I learned from a book myself. So I think I'm going on like 20 years of knitting, y'all. Like, to me, that's insane. Like, I can't even fathom that. Like, 20. It's probably a little less than that, because I learned when, well, you don't need to know my whole backstory, but I was with an ex at the time, and I remember that's when I started learning, because I remember we were living in a certain apartment at that point. And that's what I remember. Crazy pants. All right, so welcome back to any of my returning viewers, and welcome if you're new. Yeah, I usually record through the week and post on Saturdays. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Life gets in the way. Like today, it is already August 18th. Oh my God, August has flown by. Oh, August 18th, 2022, and it's Thursday. Didn't mention all the whole spiel. August has flown. Kids are coming back to school. It's insane. But it's all good. Life just keeps moving. So I feel kind of bad. I have not shown you guys anything really new. It's been the same 2 projects because I'm like really dedicated. I'm doing it, doing the darn thing. Although I did show you in the last episode that I warped my loom, and I did finish that. So that is going to be the first thing I show you today. I was telling you guys the warp threads I was using to warp my loom. I got this loom. It was from a co-worker / friend of mine's mom who had passed away, mother-in-law who passed away. She had never even opened this. This thing was like from the 1970s. It's called an Erica loom. It's a 25-inch rigid heddle loom. So I can watch all kinds of different videos that are specific to rigid heddle. It doesn't have to be that brand. Mine just works a little bit differently. I feel like they all have the same concept, but yours always might just be a little bit different. Somebody else had contacted me saying that they had found one in like a home that they had acquired or a barn or something, and I'm like, bust that thing out, watch some videos, let's do this. I just think it's awesome. Like, people find some cool stuff in old barns. Just saying. Might not, you know, you might not have instructions or whatever else, but there is so much material on the interwebs. So I was using, I warped mine with the Aunt Lydia's crochet cotton, like number 10 or something. It's thinner. So I warped my loom with that, and I used just one color, and I used a blue. And then I decided I didn't do the whole width of my loom because I was like, I need to figure this out. I need to practice. This is just going to be like a test piece. So of course I would want this project, if I make more in the future, to be larger. And I already am like, I want to cast on more. Is it considered casting on? Warping on? Do you call it warping on? Maybe that's it. Hashtag warping on. Okay, we're gonna use that. I haven't watched enough weaving videos to get all the terminology. So I then used like some sugar and cream I had for my weft, which is what you're doing back and forth. What you're weaving with is your weft threads. And so I made two distinctly different pieces. The first piece, I was really getting the hang of my loom, and I have some hiccups, and there are some what you would call floats. I just watched a video on how to fix floats. I'm not going to fix my floats on this. This is just really me learning. So, but now I know how to. If I really mess up on a project and I'm like, oh man, I need to fix that. But now I know how to do that. So, and then the second piece looks so much better. So I should just show you. Oh, and I did end up, I did a selvage edge bind off on the top and bottom. And then what I did is I went back on my sewing machine, and it's not the prettiest. I did a zigzaggy stitch to secure the whole edge, and then I folded it over, because like what I was trying to do, I was trying to make some towels. Andy the knittress, she had gifted me some beautiful, beautiful hand woven cotton towels, and I was just kind of mimicking what she was doing, or what I thought she did, needless to say. So then I folded the edge over and I zigzag stitched that down. So here is number one. You can see all the threads going this way are blue. I don't know why I get this happening. It's you can see it really well on camera, and you can see, look, I have some floats. I have some things where I missed, my shuttle didn't pass through correctly between my warp threads. So in the up position or the down position, and it didn't go through. I listen and I hear all the words, and then I don't retain it all. See, I have some oopsies. So I had some yarn that was a variegated yarn, and I had a solid green. So I did some solid, the variegated, and some more solid, and I love it. And it's, you know, it's not very wide, but it's gonna work. These already actually have been washed and dried, so these are like the final product of what I did. So I did, like, these edges aren't the greatest. You can see it's a little wonky, but I was learning. All right, second one, the edges look way better, and I'm still getting that weird diagonal thing, and I'm gonna show you that when I lift up, and I don't know what the deal is. Maybe my tension on my warp threads weren't right, and that's why I'm getting, like, can you see that? Can you see them diagonally, like, shapes? But I had a solid blue. Oh, I started, if you really want to know, I started just with solid blue, and I was going, and then I had this black, and this is just a straight up an even weave, maybe is what they call it. It's just every other row is you're switching the up shed and down shed, and that's it. I'm not doing anything fancy right now, although I really want to try doing clasped weft. A clasped weft is what I want to try. I will try to find a picture of a project that's clasped weft, and I'll insert it here because it's really cool looking. It is reminiscent of planned pooling. So I love that, and I love pooling. Okay, so back to this. I had black. I knew I didn't want to use, I wanted to have some more, so I did then another block of blue, and then I did some more black, and then I ran out of warp thread. So this one's even a little bit longer because I used up all of my warp thread that I could possibly use, so I didn't waste any. And again, these are just gonna be some around the house cotton towels to use. I love them! I'm so, like, my edges look like nicer. Thank you for all the comments people have and suggestions that people have made, because I do take them into consideration. So yeah, I have a really, this is fun. Maybe that's my screen capture. I don't know. The only other two things I've been working on are John's sweater, which is the second breakfast cardigan. All the information will be down below because I am not quite sure of the designers. And the second is the Recalibrate top, which I do know is Shana, and that's Shandline's design. Nope. Is that right? Oh my God. Down below in the doohickey. Click the carrot. It'll take you to all the things. So I'm just going to show you guys those really quick because honestly, you've seen both of these. Look, I only have this much left. Well, I mean, I'm going to need another ball to do the collar part, but this is John's. This is Malabrigo Rios I'm using, and I am on the second sleeve, y'all. And actually, last night I got to a point where I can start the ribbing for the cuff. Yay! So, look at that. I have a sleeve over here. I have a pocket hole, that's the front. Here's the other front and a sleeve and a pocket hole here. Oh my God. I was here last time. You guys saw this, I was right here. And I did sleevey sleeves. Like I said, I needed to block this out to make sure it was gonna fit correctly because I didn't want to start the second sleeve without knowing that. So, yay, cuff. And then I have to do the pocket linings and I have to do the collar and the button band. John's gonna have a Rhinebeck sweater. I'm very excited. Can you tell? I'm very excited. I did make some progress though, because I can do the whole, okay, so on the other on the Recalibrate top, you can choose how you want your colors to go. You don't have to follow the suggested color sequence. So I am doing 2 ridges of each color, and I'm doing 3 colors on the one side, and the other side is going to follow the pie sequence. So I'm not going to take all the balls of yarn out for this, but I am attached to 3, and I can do, during my lunch hour for work, I can do 1 whole color. So I can do like 2 ridges, which is 4 passes back and forth of this whole piece. And I was here. So I've gotten done 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, 4 stripes. This is gonna sit like this. Oh my God, I love it so much. This is so much fun. And I mean, green's my color. If you're new to the channel, I love all greens. Like, it can be puke green to olive green to neon chartreusey green, blue green. Now I sound like Forrest Gump, but I love green. Green, green, green. All the green. This is so good. This is so good. It's so good, y'all. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay. That's all I have to show you guys. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I have to finish taking my lunch break because I'm working from home today, and the kids are already eating lunch, and then that's it. But I really want to warp my loom again. Ugh, it's driving me crazy. And then I want to find some yarn and do that clasped weft. I love it. I watched a video. I remember, I'll link that video down below because it's really easy too. Like, I mean, in theory, it looks it's not complicated because you're still technically just doing like the even weave with a twist. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Maybe if I warp my loom and I do that, I'll video a little bit for you to see. Maybe. That's what I got. All right, until the next clip, y'all. Bye. So apparently I am being trusted in this house to make smash burgers. So the meat is already, if you don't know what a smash burger is, it is a burger that is much smaller size of a ball, and then you take it on your griddle and you smash it. And then you add cheese at the end. The meat is usually just seasoned, and that's it. We are already using meat, though, that we made for something else, so it has seasoning and it has shreddy cheese in it. So I gotta make some meatballs that we're gonna smash on the grill. Alright, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Wish me all the luck, please. I'm too afraid of it. If that's small, that's pretty small. Alright, the size of it. This is way too much meat, but. Right, cranking this for a friend. It's not gonna show. That's awesome. This way, this way. Yeah, okay. Welcome, baby. I know that was your plan.
Oh no.
Oh no, that doesn't sound good.
Oh no, I can still run. Yeah. And then go see if they have one. It's breaking a hole, doesn't it?
That's not very nice.
Where's the villager's chest? Oopsie.
That doesn't sound good.
They got it. Why do you have so many potatoes? I'll just take an apple. Hey, yo!
That didn't sound good.
Why does he have a helmet? Why do you have a helmet?
Probably to save himself from the zombies.
But the zombie, but that is a zombie.
Oh, the zombie's wearing a helmet? Well, then I don't know.
Yes! The just because it was. Do these people have a chest? I don't know. What is this? House on the floor? What is that table? I'm getting another sword. And remember what that is?
A sword?
The hardest sword you could ever find.
I don't know.
A nethered sword.
A what sword?
Nethered sword.
Leathered?
Nether.
Nether sword?
It's so hard to get them because you have to go into the nether.
I don't even know what that is.
I'm sleeping in a villager's bed.
Oh? Is that smart to do?
Now it's daytime, right?
Why are you sleeping then, if it's daytime?
No, it was nighttime. Now it's daytime.
Oh.
It's a little less. Thanks for the helmet, bro. I just called him.
I heard you, bro.
This is such a big village. I think I'm gonna mix this in here. It's a very big village. Oh, not a little guy. Oh no.
Hey everybody, it is Friday and it's the 19th. Yeah, I showed you guys those smash burgers yesterday. That meat was fine. The meat was fine. We're fine. We don't have like food poisoning or anything. We had pre-mixed it with some shredded cheese. The shredded cheese got weird, and then we tried to cook the burgers on the grill, and they did not turn out the same way. So if you try to make smash burgers, strictly meat, nothing else, and seasonings. Meat and seasonings. Do not add other stuff when you're trying to cook it. Okay, you saw me also cranking, sorry. I got the idea. Andy, the knittress, was trying to do like texture on her socks with self-striping, and I think she was lifting every other needle when the color change happened. I could be wrong. I just was doing random every 4th needle because I was too afraid of it being like too tight. Because sometimes when you do those color changes and you do the slipped like hand knitting, it can make the sock a little bit tighter. So I was a little scared, but it didn't. So this is the Knit Picks yarn. You can see it has a little bit of texture, and they're fine. I thought it would just be fun. I only did it on the cuff, on the leg part. This is Under the Sea by Knit Picks in the Fleechy, but you can see the difference, right? Here versus here. So I have to crank the other one yet. I haven't done that. But John, you know, Johnny Bo Dies, he has not dyed much lately, and he was taking those pottery classes. Excuse my closet of mess. But we had some yarn that we had to label up because we haven't done that yet. And so I'm going to be putting that in the shop very shortly. So if you're interested, you know, keep watch on Instagram, because I'm going to just probably post on Instagram when it goes up. But we have 5 skeins each of all these. So this was John. He was woke up and he didn't record or anything that day. He just woke up and he wanted to dye speckles. So he had done rainbow speckles, and then he did black speckles on top of it all. So I called this Rainbow Specks. I didn't give him a chance to name it. I called it Rainbow Specks, and it is a DK weight 100% superwash merino. We have 5 of those. All of these are DK weight, I should say. This was the other one he dyed. Usually he'll do 2 colors at one time, just out of his head. This one he was doing speckles also, but then we both looked at it and we're like, should we leave it alone? Do you want to leave it alone? But he decided not to, and he did tobacco leaf over all of it. So it was like a wash of tobacco leaf. This one, I don't even remember him dyeing this one, to tell you the truth. So I had Hazel name this one. I didn't name the other one. I wasn't sure what to call it. Tobacco Kisses. I don't know. This one Hazel called the Night's Light, because it reminded her of like the sky at night. So this is like purples all different purple tones. It looks a little pink there, but it's definitely more purple toned than pink. So yeah. And then we have one more, and this is the yarn. I don't know if you're a long-time watcher, you're going to remember. We had procured some yarn from an alpaca farm. It's the Shihanta Alpaca Farm, and they're on the eastern shore of Maryland, Shihanta. And we got, I'm only going to show you this right now. This was from an alpaca named Bruno. So let me insert picture here of Bruno. Bruno was able to provide 14 skeins. I have all the labels from the mill that spun this for Shihanta Farm. So this is Bruno, 14 skeins. It is a 2-ply worsted. They're 2.5 ounces for the skein, and it's 125 yards. So here is the bare yarn, which if you're interested in this, please let me know, because he dyed 5, so we have 9 of these left. This is 100% alpaca, super drapey. You can see how, like, it's just super squish, right? Super squish. But John he was very nervous about dyeing this yarn because of it being a different material than he's used to. Like, alpaca is not something he normally has touched at all. So he was nervous. I'm going to make a crinkle noise. Ready? And he dyed 5 skeins of this, and I think it's beautiful. Look how pretty that is. I mean, I know a lot of people like the all-natural look of yarn too, but so there's 5 skeins of this. I'm not sure what this will be priced at, but I'm hoping to make a label for these and also get these, excuse me, into the shop. So I hope you're excited. They're so soft and squishy. Oh my gosh, like seriously. All right, so of course, it does say at the bottom, all yardage is approximate, but that's like any yarn, I think, you know, that you're getting from a mill spun place. Like, I guess if you're buying more from a bigger corporation, Knit Picks, it could be off a little. So I'm not sure how off they are, or if there is a, you know, like a guideline, like an acceptable amount of being off a percentage. I just don't know. Like, you know, in commercial yarns, you can have like 4 knots or something like that, whatever it is. But yeah, these are so pretty. I'll have pictures of, I'm going to post pictures on Instagram of everything too. So they're so soft. Like, it's a nice worsted weight. I mean, you could get fingerless gloves out of these. You could make a hat out of one of these. Yeah, it's just super nice. All right, that's all I have to show right now. I did not warp my loom, but I've watched a bunch more videos. I'm obsessed. Oh, Jen, Barley Hops and Yarn, remember her? She put up her first YouTube episode, so you should go check that out. I'll link her down below. She dyed up this colorway that I think as soon as she releases it, I'm gonna have to get a skein of it because it looks really cool, and I want to see how it's gonna, like, knit up. I'm really, really excited about that. Sorry, itchy eye. Okay, I'm gonna go. I've talked a lot, and I know we have all kinds of weird clips because cranking and smash burgers and whatnot. So, all right, until tomorrow, I guess, because I usually round it up. All right, bye. Okay, guys, it's Saturday. Let's round this up. I have to get this edited, and then we're going to see
Elking.
Elking! We're very...
Did you see me?
I did.
I set my foot up.
Yeah, I saw your face too. Okay, see, we're going to see Elking. Also,
Wait. Where are you coming?
Yeah, we're all going collectively as a family.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, because you thought it was just a you and Daddy date?
Yeah.
No, I'm going. All right, let's not be crazy. Let's tone it down. Let me finish this up, okay? All right. Please don't show your butt. This is going to be impossible. You are not a cat. You're gonna end up showing your underwear. Nope. Back it up, girl. Oh my god. Okay. Now, tone it down. Please. Please and thank you.
There's a secret door behind here. So.
Okay. I finished those socks. Really, all I had to do was close the toe, but yeah! I'm done. They're so much fun.
Da, 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 da.
Is that the finished object song?
It's the minion song.
Okay, you're being really silly. Can you really just tone it down for 2 seconds? Okay, I mean more than that. It's gonna take me more than 2 seconds.
What? So.
Yeah, right. Okay, put some stuff in the Etsy shop. It's already listed. Sorry, we didn't do like a pre-warning type thing, but there are 4 ball beanies. 2 are odd.
I saw your butt check.
You won't be allowed on the podcast anymore. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. She didn't see my butt crack. My butt crack is sufficiently covered, thank you. 2 are oddballs because they're kind of short, but they still will do the job. They're discounted by $1. And then 2 that are regular. No, you gotta turn the sound off, please. Help me. 2 are regular priced because they are the normal size that they're supposed to be. I try to list what yarn it is. Couldn't remember what this was called. I think it was not a cascade. I don't remember what I was saying. I had to pause because a kid doesn't know how to be quiet. All right, I also remember a few episodes ago, it's probably been more than a few. Oh my god. This is why she's not allowed on here anymore.
Wait, I'm not?
This is why you haven't been.
Where's Daddy?
You don't know how to control yourself.
Where's Daddy? Oh, downstairs.
I have upcycled some jewelry that I found in secondhand stores and made some stitch markers. So I've listed those also. The rings I used only go up to a US size 8 needle or 5mm. So anything larger than that, these will not fit on. Just a pre-warning. It is in my listing, but yeah, these, and I have like our stamp on the back, but these, oh, they're definitely not going to focus. Okay. This is a set of 9, I believe. So 8 and 1 progress keeper. The progress keepers are on lever backs. This is just a set of 2. And this is my favorite. This is the little leaves, I think, are some sort of see-through material, like maybe glass, I'm not sure. They look kind of vintage and I really liked them, but that's my favorite. That's a set of 4 stitch markers. I know they're kind of dangly. You know, you might not want to be doing lace knitting with these. I don't know, but totally your preference, because people have a preference, right? So there we go. Everything's listed in the shop. All right, I gotta get going and edit this. And then we gotta figure out like all the logistics of going to the concert tonight. So that'll be fun. All right. I have been listening to, it was suggested to me, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I am almost done. You know, so I honestly am not a fan of Goodreads. Only gives you 5 stars. Like, I sometimes feel like I need a good, like, longer space to rate something, because I feel like sometimes I want to rate the book not just right in the middle at 3, but I don't think like it's in the middle, but I don't think it's like, it's not a 4 because it's not like one step is like the best and then one step is the middle. I feel like there needs to be more steps. So, because honestly, I rate a lot of stuff 4s. Sometimes 3s, sometimes, you know, whatever. But I wish the rating system was a 1 to 10. So I am enjoying this book so far. I am not done. I have like 2 hours left on it. But I feel like sometimes I just, maybe it's the reader, the person reading it, but sometimes I just feel like my mind tracks off. And so it hasn't kept me fully engaged in some parts. The book is still good. And so far, if I were to rate it, see, I would rate it more at like a 7. Because it's not like in the middle, and it's not like caught my attention and wonderful and great and the best thing since sliced bread. It's a 7 right now. So that could really jump up or it could jump down. There you go. I haven't been reading anything else and watching. I started watching the Uncoupled, which is on Netflix with Neil Patrick Harris. And so far I have enjoyed that. I can't believe that once upon a time he was Doogie Howser, kid medical genius or whatever. Like, how long ago was that show? Gosh, all right, a long time. All right, that's all I have to tell you about because everything else has been the norm that we've been watching. Big Brother. If you're a Big Brother fan, we just watched the most current episode and there's a big twist that they've created and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But then again, some twists I'm not sure how I feel about when they announce them. So I have some favorites. I'm not going to name my favorite. Well, I could name my favorites. Can I though? Because I'm not really sure who I really like. I really liked Daniel and then things got really weird and then he was gone. So I don't know who I'm rooting for. Maybe the rug tufter because he does rug tufting. What is his name? I can't remember. Him. Maybe I'm rooting for him. That's my new favorite. I don't know. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm gung-ho on one person in a season and then that's who I like all season. And I haven't felt that way with this season. I don't know. All right. I gotta stop. I hope everybody's well. Please just check in on one another. You know, it's the little things that really matter. You know, if you have a chance, maybe write a postcard to a friend or a card or just send something, you know, to them out of the blue. You know, it's the little things in life, right? Like I've gotten postcards in the past or just random letters or just, you know, here's a $10 gift card because I knew you can do like Dunkin' gift cards. Like you can just transfer them, like buy them and send them to like an email or whatever and they get the code. Like how nice is that gesture, right? So it's the little things. So again though, even if it is just sending that text and checking in on somebody or making that call, yeah, because life is short. People are having hard times still dealing with the sickness and getting back to some sort of quote normalcy or not normalcy anymore. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop there. Knit happy, everybody. And until the next episode, I'll see you then.